grade anything? So let's chant. Who's Madanga player? Hare Krishna. Good morning, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Are you alive?
Yes.
That's half the battle. Stay alive, then thrive. No thriving if not living. Living. One day at a time. Let me try my new cartel so Srivas will be happy with me. Oh, that was pretty good. I still play bad, but they're pretty good, you know. You're still here? The SWAT team didn't come yet? We're calling the parents SWAT team, terrorists, ghosts. What else are we saying about mom and dad? Husband and wife, huh? Putana, demons, we're giving them nicknames. Somebody has to do it. No one at home's gonna do it. No Aparvichar guru's gonna do it. So someone has to take the risk, right? So here we are. Some will like it, most won't. What to do? All right, Sanatan, the engineer. I don't know what you're engineering. I hope it'll be safe. Hope it's permanent. Shishi Gonitai ki, Shila Prabhupada, Shila Govinda Swami, Shila Gurudeva ki, Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda ki. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Govinda Swami Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Namaste Saraswati Devi Jai Shri Srimad Govinda Swami Shila Gurudev Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajika Jai Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajika Jai Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Shila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Nam Acharya Shila Haridas Thakur Ki Vamsikoho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadha Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Navadvip Kam Ki Shri Sheta Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Ganga Maya Ki Jamuna Maya Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulas Maharani Ki Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Ki Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Lady Subhadra Devis Ki Shri Shri Radha Gopinatha Ki Shri Shri Radha Gopal Ju Ki Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Premanam Sankirtan Jagya Ki Transcendental Book in Prasadam Distribution Ki Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Shivadaya Krishna Prastaya Vatara Srimati Guru Govinda Swami. Om Jnana Timaranda Shakananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Jana Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare Hare. So we're continuing our reading from Krishna book, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Deliverance of Lord Shiva, 88th chapter. Hare Krishna. So Krishna's pastimes are so amazing, so many different lessons are there. It's Krishna always doing what's best for everyone, including his devotees, including his topmost devotees and Vaishnavas. He's always keeping them dependent on him and always forcing them with love and devotion to keep that strong connection. Are you in Pune? Where are you? Body, mind and soul? That's another question. You want to enter into Svetadvip? Vaikuntha? And now the President of India. From this day forward it is Bharata. Bharatavash. No more India. Yes. My God, are they on a trip or what? Big trip. It's very nice, very beautiful. Thank you very much. Can I take it off now? Very nice. I cannot peacefully read and go too deep with that on me, you know. A little distracting, isn't it? Everyone will be looking at that like how this Maharaj is wearing this thing. Who does he think he is? Just somebody trying to get mercy from my Guru, from Vaishnavas. I was thinking Lord Shiva's topmost Vaishnava, and we don't even know what is Vaishnava. Well, I'm just worshipping some, topmost Vaishnava. So do we really know what is Vaishnava? What is Vaishnava? What platform are they on? Shuddha Sattva platform. Are you on that platform? So how do you know what is Vaishnava? Right? Oh, these people, there are no true superior to them, right? The topmost authority. Oh, okay. So just blindly accepting? We don't even know what are we accepting. We're not really accepting, actually. It's just some authorities say, okay, they're the authorities. We just blindly, we're trained, right? Especially with this British educational system, right? Whatever the authorities say, that is correct, right? You forget about the Vedas. Now the British Anglo-Saxons have said this is the truth. Then we blindly must just follow that thing, isn't it? So they've changed the allegiance, the trust, the faith from Krishna and Krishna's system to a bunch of demons who have a completely opposite goal than Krishna has. So that's why Krishna has to keep coming. That's why he has to keep sending his devotees. That's why he has to demonstrate these pastimes, because otherwise, if Krishna says there's no truth superior to me, I'm the seed-giving father of all living entities, I'm the source of all the material and spiritual worlds, everything is emanating from me, everything is my energy, I'm the controller of all of my energies. There has to be pastimes that show how those are true, how that is true. Otherwise, it's just you're separating a philosophical point with no practical demonstration. So when you see all the topmost Vaishnavas and topmost demigods all going in fear and anxiety, running, looking, even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva running, looking towards Vishnu, Krishna, understanding he's supreme controller, he's supreme protector. So these are practical demonstrations of all of those philosophical points that Krishna's explaining about himself in the Bhagavad Gita. So the pastimes are examples, repeated examples of how Krishna is dealing with his devotees, how he's protecting them, how he's giving intelligence and faith, how he's purifying them, how he's liberating them. Anyone who follows that instructions, how they also achieve perfection by that scientific approach. So there needs to be practical demonstrations and pastimes which, how do you say, make those philosophical points manifested. Otherwise, we're just blindly accepting philosophical points, but we're not understanding practically how and why we're accepting all of those points. So these pastimes are examples of those philosophical truths regarding Krishna and the absolute truth. So here we have Lord Shiva. So about the Vaishnava, then even topmost Vaishnavas, they're completely depending on Krishna. Srimati Radharani, all the gopis, all the dear devotees, the topmost devotees, they all say we're Das, we're Dasi. Krishna's avatari, he's the source of all the avatars. He is our Lord and Master. And all the demigods, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Indra, Chandra, all of them, they say we are also Das, we are the Das of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Vishnu. So everybody is Das. Krishna is only enjoyer. He's supreme enjoyer and only enjoyer. Our enjoyment comes from his enjoyment. So if we try to enjoy separate from Krishna, Rama, reservoir of all pleasure, that is our foolishness, because we don't understand. There's no real peace and happiness, satisfaction, unless Krishna is satisfied with us. If we don't understand Krishna's position, we don't understand our position, then we will not think that, no, I must surrender and serve Krishna as a das, as dasi. So all of this thing has to be constantly repeated, because we have been brainwashed for so long in so many lives and species that to break all of that is not easy thing. So all the potency of the Lord is coming in this holy name and in the speaking about Krishna. Very powerful medicine is there. unless we are sincere and serious, Krishna not manifesting in the sound, he's not giving us the purification or intelligence to be able to hear it and understand it. Right? Adam was telling me yesterday, many times we were discussing in the past many philosophical points, and he said it was very complicated, very tedious, very grueling experience. And so now he's starting to pray to Gonitai, focus, mind. Right? You'll get some benefit even if you put your body here, but it won't be as much as if your soul is directing your senses to hear about Krishna. So your advancement and the mercy will be much quicker and more powerful if you're consciously participating and attentive and needing that information. Because every word, every lila, everything is an instruction for us to give us faith and understanding how to progress in our spiritual life. So here we're seeing that Lord Shiva, he had gone to all the demigods, he had gone to Brahma, right? Looking for shelter, kind of like Ambarish, right? And that lila, that pastime, wasn't it? Who's the Durvasa Muni, right? He had chakra chasing him, and it was burning him, and he was chasing, running everywhere. Everybody, please give me some relief. You have chakra chasing you? So chakra chasing. So finally he had to go to the Supreme Lord to get the mercy, and then the Lord said, I cannot actually help you because you have to go to the devotee that you offended. And of course, because of pride and arrogance, we could not recognize Vaishnava. This is the original point. Because of this pride and arrogance and this lower consciousness, we could not understand on higher consciousness, on fourth dimensional platform, how those Vaishnavas are situated. And so it's very easy to misunderstand them, or to try to judge them or criticize them, or even offend them knowingly or unknowingly. And so we have to be very careful. If you're deaf, dumb, and blind, you're going to be very careful, because we won't know what is what. So Lord Shiva, finally he entered Svetadvip, Vaikuntha. In Svetadvip, there are many great saintly persons who are completely freed from the envious nature of the material world, and are beyond the jurisdiction of these four principles of material activity, namely Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. And anyone who enters into that Vaikuntha planet, in that type of association, Vaikuntha atmosphere, this is higher taste. By higher taste, they can never return to the material world, because now you have something to compare it to. Before that, it's just theoretical. It's not enough. We need a practical experience. Krishna says if you get a higher taste, then you can let go of lower taste. If it's just all variations of lower taste, then we have no perspective. So getting higher taste means unbelievable mercy from Krishna and Krishna's devotees, so that we can see what is the difference between that type of consciousness and experience and what we're coming from in material consciousness, from the material world. So Lord Narayana, he's celebrated as a lover of his devotees. Krishna says that my devotees are more important to me than even my own self. As soon as he understood that his dear devotee, Lord Shiva, was in such great danger, he appeared. So this is very interesting. I was thinking about this morning, how the Lord, he loves his devotees. He always wants to protect his devotees. He could understand, oh, my devotee Lord Shiva is in such a great danger. So from their point of view, it's a yoga maya, and they're just enjoying those exchanges based on these different leelas. But from our point of view, we're looking at it, oh, Krishna, he loves his devotees, and he's a protector of his devotees. So we're trying to understand it from our point of view, coming from conditional life or materialistic life, that okay, there's this personality, God, Krishna, Narayana. He loves his devotees. He's the deliverer of his devotees. And he comes and protects them. So how he did it is he appeared as a brahmachari, and then he personally approached Lord Shiva to receive him from a distant place. The Lord appeared as a perfect brahmachari with a belt around his waist, a sacred thread, a deer skin, a brahmachari stick, and Rudra beads, which are obviously different from the Tulsi beads. So Rudra beads are used by devotees of Lord Shiva. So I was trying to think that why Narayana, why Vishnu, right? Why is he just appearing as a brahmachari? Right? Why he's disguising himself? And then he's putting Rudra beads, so he's what? He's telling Shiva, okay, I'm your devotee, you know, I'm like a follower of you, we have some kind of relationship. So let's see what comes out of this. Why is it that the Lord is just not directly standing there as Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? You're going to Vaikuntha planet, right? That's where the Lord is residing. The Lord is coming, so it's not like he's sending out some servant or some other personality to welcome Lord Shiva. He's directly welcoming Lord Shiva, but he's deciding to do it in the disguise as a brahmachari and one who looks like he's a follower of Lord Shiva. So this is a very interesting thing to try to understand. Why is it like this? This is how we should try to read it, right? Because then it forces us to try to understand it, and then it makes you try to understand and engage all of these tattvas, because it's all intertwined in these pastimes, right? Otherwise you're just reading it and accepting it blindly, like passively reading it, but we're not going deep enough and asking certain question. If you're asking certain question, now that sounds odd, it sounds like, what is the need of that? So now we're trying to understand how Krishna is acting, why Krishna is acting in very particular ways. And that way it becomes more revealed to us. Otherwise you just read it passively, okay, this is brahmachari and he met the Lord Shiva and now he's going to do something that, it's not deep enough in understanding it. And the deeper we go, the more apparent contradictions are there. There's questions like, well, why is the Lord, he's going to see the Lord, why is the Lord coming as a brahmachari? And then if it was just to send him why not just send some devotee to welcome him? Yes, bring him to Lord Narayana, bring him to Vishnu, Krishna, right? So he's coming dressed as a brahmachari, and he stood before Lord Shiva, and he had a shining effulgence emanating from his body, attracted not only Lord Shiva, but also the demon Vrikasura. So, because it says that those who have love for the Lord never hides himself, right? They always see their Lord. They always see their Ishtadev, isn't it? So now, okay, then why is he hiding there, right? So then we understand, okay, by this way, he's somehow attracting and showing some type of Shakti, some type of effulgence, whereby even someone in such tamagun can actually somehow get a little bit purified, and also by that purification become somehow attracted to that brahmachari. So the Lord is attracting Vrikasura, the demons, towards himself. And then you see, like in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right, he comes in such a beautiful form, tall, and like everything perfect, most beautiful, tallest, powerful person. So that, you see in Bengal, a lot of people are very short, right? So all of a sudden you have this huge personality who's beautiful beyond compare. So any normal person, even you're just a materialistic person, you'll be like, who is this personality, isn't it? So the Lord makes you appreciative if you're not envious completely. But here we know Vrikasura is completely envious. So how is it the Lord is somehow or other trying to attract him towards himself? There must be some reason for why he's doing like that, isn't it? I detect some kind of mercy is coming. Now what quality of mercy, that's another question. He's getting set up, really, right? So Lord Narayan, he offered his respects and his obeisances under Vrikasura. Right? Such a demon wants to crack everyone's skull open and kill them. And the Lord is coming with such humility and such respect and paying obeisances to such a great demon just to attract his sympathy and attention. You know, there's such a big false ego. Prabhupada said sometimes when you're preaching to these people who have big false ego, you have to glorify them, show respect to them, right? Then they're like, oh, I like this person, you know, he's respecting me, he has a nice behavior, he's a little humble. Yes. Oh, now can I ask you some question? Yes, anything you want to. So, you know, why don't everything you think you know, just get rid of all of that. It's all nonsense, right? So Prabhupada laughing, like sometimes you have to trick these people with their such a big false ego, right? So here the Lord is showing how to be a preacher, right? How to preach to demons. And you see in the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, he's coming washing the feet of everybody. Jesus also, right? You see, before they're coming in the temple. So anybody who sees this type of behavior, even if you're a demoniac, you'll be like, this is extraordinary type of behavior and show of some type of quality of humility and nice mood. So in this way, he's attracting the sympathy and the attention of Vrikasura by appearing in this way, showing the great demon such respect, even paying obeisances to him, and thus stopping the demon. The Lord addressed him as follows: my dear son of Shakuni, you appear very tired, as if you're coming from some very distant place. What is your purpose? How can I help you? How can I serve you? Why have you come so far? I see that you are tired, you're so fatigued. I request you, please, take a little bit of rest. You should not unnecessarily tire your body, just a little bit rest. Everybody greatly values his body because only with the body one can fulfill all the desires of one's mind. We should not therefore don't unnecessarily give trouble to your body. So he's speaking very sweetly. Don't be so stressed, rest a little bit. Slow down, just gradually like a snake charmer, right? They're just like it, you know, some mantra, right? They're just like trying to pacify a snake. So you see right here how he's speaking, dealing, very nice, right? And just pacifying such a demon, such a envious personality. And then the brahmachari, he addressed Vrikasura, Prabhupada says, as the son of Shakuni, just to convince him that he was known to his father Shakuni. So I know your father, right? So if someone says, hey, I know your father, it's like, oh, you know, we have some kind of connection, right? Vrikasura then took the brahmachari to be somebody known to his family. Oh, he knows my father. And therefore the brahmachari's sympathetic words pacified him and appealed to him. This is expert preacher, isn't it? He knows exactly how to pacify them, how to appeal to them, how to attract to them, how to calm them down, like snake charmer, right? Before the demon could argue that he had no time to take any rest, the Lord informed him about the importance of his body and that you have to rest, otherwise you can't get the fulfillment of your desires. And somehow or other, those words and behavior of the Lord completely convinced that demon. Seriously tricked him, isn't it? If he came directly out as a, Lord Narayana with 4 arms and, right? Maybe it would not have been as effective, right? Because he's a demon, right? He'd become more envious, but he did it in such a clever, sweet, humble way. And therefore, Vrikashura became convinced about the importance. Then he started thinking, yes, I have to take care of my body. So he basically just put him on the bodily platform, distracted his mind that yes, if you want to enjoy on bodily platform, you have to rest that body. Yes, that's true, yes. Then, just to pacify the demon, that brahmachari told him, my dear Lord, he's telling Vrikashura, my dear Lord, if you think that you can disclose the mission for which you have taken such trouble coming such a long distance to come here, maybe I shall be able to help you so that your purpose will be easily served. So he's calling him, my dear Lord, you are my superior, and because he's brahmachari, a saintly little brahmachari devotee, then he's saying, and of course in the custom, there's such a pure, saintly, simple brahmachari, he might be able to give you some blessing like this, right? So, how is it you came this far? You're so troubled, you're so exhausted. Maybe I'll be able to help you in your purpose for which you have come here. So Prabhupada says, indirectly, the Lord informed him that because the Lord is the Supreme Brahman, he would certainly be able to adjust the awkward situation created by Lord Shiva. So indirectly, he's talking about the Lord, he's basically talking about himself, that he is supreme mystic, he can do and undo, and that by his mystic power, he would be able to certainly adjust this awkward situation that was created by his dear devotee, Lord Shiva. So sometimes the Lord is coming and just chopping off the head. Sometimes he's coming as brahmachari and doing some sweet trickery, tricking him, tricking the demons. So the demon, he was greatly pacified. The false ego gave nice massage to this great demon, false ego. By the sweet words of Lord Narayana in the form of this brahmachari. And at last, he disclosed all that had happened in regard to the benediction that was offered by Lord Shiva. So he got him to admit to everything, isn't it? And then the Lord replied to the demon as follows, I myself cannot believe that Lord Shiva has in truth given you such a benediction. It's unbelievable that he would give you this type of a benediction. As far as I know, Lord Shiva is not in a sane mental condition. So how are we going to cheat Krishna? Right? He's the intelligence of all the cheats put together. Isn't it? So he said, Lord Shiva, he's not sane. He's in a bad mental position or condition. And he gives an example. When he had a quarrel with his father-in-law, Daksha, he was cursed to become a ghost. So who cursed your relative to become a ghost, right? Didn't Daksha end up having the head of the goat? Right? And it was like reversed also. It's bad enough you have the head of a goat, but then you reverse it on the body. Right? So who will do this type of thing? You see how insane mental condition Lord Shiva is, that he's doing like this? And then he became the leader of the ghosts and the goblins. Ghosts and goblins. Therefore, I cannot put any faith in his words. He's not trustworthy, he's a mental case, he does some crazy stuff. So, therefore, the Lord says, I cannot put any faith in his words. But, if you still have faith in the words of Lord Shiva, my dear king of the demons, now he's my dear king of the demons, then why don't you just make an experiment by putting your hand on your own head? So he basically just said, he's crazy, right? How you put any faith in his instructions? So he weakened his faith and determination with the benediction that he got from Lord Shiva, right? Because if he really had faith and belief and strength in that benediction, then why would he touch his own head? So the Lord just tricked him like, oh, he's crazy, how you put faith and trust in that benediction, right? So he weakened his faith and determination in the benediction that he got from Lord Shiva. And then he said, anyway, let's just see if it works. You don't even know that it even works. So why don't you just put that hand like on your own head? Make an experiment, like he's doubting like it's even gonna work, you know, like we don't even know if it's gonna work. Let's just do an experiment. Put your hand on your own head. And then, if that benediction proves to be false, then you can at once kill that liar, Lord Shiva. That means he lied to you. He gave you some false benediction. So if it proves like that you don't crack your head and die, then that means Lord Shiva just cheated you, lied to you. Said he gave you some kind of a benediction. Then you can at once kill such a liar as Lord Shiva, so that in the future he will not dare to give out such false benedictions. It's like a very unique, interesting pastime, isn't it? You could also say indirectly he's saying to Lord Shiva, be careful with who you're giving benedictions to, right? So that in the future he will not dare give out such false benedictions. So maybe there's also some lesson there, isn't it? And you see, it said that he showed compassion once this demon wanted to cut off his head. So just like we saw with Arjuna, how he was showing some type of compassion and then he was being criticized by Krishna, that this is some type of a weakness. And because of that so-called material compassion, and Prabhupada explained it, how it's just ordinary material compassion. If someone's trying to kill themselves, then you should try to save them. So he demonstrated materialistic compassion by not allowing such a great demon to just get rid of himself, which would have been a great boon for the rest of civilization, right? Humanity. So it's also because of this apparent weakness of material compassion, to the point that you're giving such a benediction that he can do such harm to the rest of humanity, and now to you, Lord Shiva. So it's kind of indirectly that you'll not give out this type of false benediction to such personality who are not really qualified to receive or trustworthy to receive such a benediction. Do you like that? Does that make sense? Otherwise we're saying Lord Shiva's topmost Vaishnava, just like Arjuna, right? Eternal associate of the Lord. So how he's demonstrating materialistic compassion and sympathy, especially, at least Arjuna was for his family, who were all great personalities, right? Lord Shiva, he's giving this type of compassion and sympathy to the most, the king of the demons. And then on top of that, then you're giving him such a dangerous benediction. So indirectly seemed like a little warning, like, be careful who you're handing out these benedictions to. So in this way, Lord Narayana, by his sweet words and by the expansion of his superior illusion, Yogamaya, right? He put that demon, he made that demon, he became bewildered. And he actually forgot and lost the faith in the power that he had received from Lord Shiva and his benediction. He cheated him. Krishna says, I'll make you remember and I'll make you forget. So he weakened by these doubts. He weakened the strength and the faith of the benediction he had received from Lord Shiva. So his superior illusion, Yogamaya, the demon, became completely bewildered. He actually forgot and lost faith in the power of the benediction that he had received from Lord Shiva. In that way, he was thus very easily persuaded to put his hand on his own head. So when Krishna is involved, he can very easily persuade. If we don't do it that way, who are we going to persuade? We can't even convince ourselves what to do, isn't it? So we're gonna persuade other people? It's not possible. So if we depend on Krishna and say, okay, Krishna, whatever's in our best interest, that person's best interest anyway, then that's what's going to happen. That's the best case scenario. So if Krishna wants to purify, he wants to use his potency, Yogamaya, even Mahamaya, to persuade the living entity, then he can easily do it. We cannot do it. He's easily persuaded. That's why we always make the statement, even if I speak everything according to Guru Sadhu and Shastra from an absolute point of view, even not adding or subtracting anything, that's not going to persuade you. The only thing that's going to persuade you in those to receive or accept those words, to put the necessary intelligence and faith in those words, is Krishna himself. So Krishna, he is Paramatma, Super Soul, Antayami, Chetu Guru. So unless Krishna wakes you up, purifies you, and gives you intelligence and faith and remembrance to be able to even receive or accept those instructions, only then will you actually put faith in those instructions. So that persuading, that's why it says one has to be empowered. What does it mean is that Krishna is agreeing to use those words of the spiritual master in a way that persuades that soul towards the canvassing of Krishna. If Krishna is not involved in that preaching, one is not actually empowered, then it has no Shakti, it has no power to purify or persuade or convince the soul. You may use those words intellectually. Someone may say, well, that sounds logical, that sounds practical, that's persuasive from a logical, practical point of view. But when everything becomes apparent and you have all these different apparent inconsistencies and all of these things become very confusing, we cannot rely on some type of materialistic logic and practicality and even being able to understand what to speak of coming to a conclusion on apparent contradictions. So only Krishna can make those contradictions, clear those contradictions, and give us the necessary intelligence and faith to be able to be persuaded by that presentation. That's why, so many people are talking about Krishna, and they're talking about 10th canto, and they're talking about this and this and that, But if it's not empowered, it can't even purify your consciousness. What to speak of, qualifying us or bringing us onto some type of transcendental or Shuddha-sattva platform. So for the Lord, when the Lord's involved in it, then very easily He empowers those words. Even Prabhupada said, if you empower my words, only then will it be possible to purify and to convince these people that this information is more valuable than the information that they're running on. So that power, that ability to persuade, ultimately that comes by Chaitaguru, Paramatma, Super Soul, giving intelligence and faith from within. Therefore we have to speak what Krishna wants us to speak, and we have to hear what Krishna wants us to hear. Otherwise, it will not be effective. So then, he bewildered the demon easily. He persuaded him. He weakened his faith and determination in the strength of the benediction he received from Lord Shiva. And then, as soon as the demon did that, he put his hand on his own head. Immediately his own head cracked as if it was struck by a thunderbolt. And he immediately died. Oh well. So then I was thinking, are you sad to see that guy go? Not really. He's not a sympathetic guy. Only Lord Shiva can show such sympathy and compassion. He's dealing with a lot of demons, so he has to have some sympathy and compassion. So then the other question is that it says that when Lord Krishna kills a demon, that's a special benediction for that demon, that he becomes liberated. So if he touched his own head on the benediction of Lord Shiva, does he become liberated? Did the Lord actually kill him? What do you think? Do you think he's destined to be liberated because he was killed by the Lord? I think so. Because the Lord, he bewildered him, he purified him, he attracted him, right? He spoke in such a way, he tricked him. Then he weakened his faith. He did everything possible, right, for this demon to be killed. Only thing he didn't pull the trigger. Right? Sometimes it's like that, Someone is put in such a situation, like, you can pull the trigger yourself. So is that guy guilty? Is he guilty forcing you into a situation where you kill yourself? So, and then why did the Lord go through this whole thing? As soon as he saw his devotee is terrorized, and he looks at this demon, right? Why didn't he just kill him? Why all of this interesting type of... So there's all these little subtle points that we're talking about. There's some meaning in all of that. And so that has to just be brought out, right? Revealed. That's why it says a revealed scripture. When I used to read from a academic point of view, I could only go so far. From logical, intellectual, practical point of view, you can only go that far depending on your materialistic intelligence, mind, and senses. Then when I heard from Srila Gaura Govinda Swami, I remember the first Bhagavatam I heard in Los Angeles, the day after I met him in the morning, he spoke about the Damodar Lila from Krishna book. And I had just recently, like twice recently, heard that pastime. So when Srila Gaura Govinda Swami started talking about that pastime, my first reaction was, oh, we already just heard this pastime, right? Typical materialistic kind of response, right? And then I just said, okay, don't think like that, don't, just be positive. You had a good night last night. All things are pointing in your direction. Don't get negative. keep your heart and mind open, and then just try to hear that pastime again from Srila Govinda Swami. Then when he explained that pastime, I was like seeing that pastime, which I had never been able to have that same kind of experience. So his description and explanation, it was like all the personalities became revealed, their dress, their color, all the texture and all of the, I don't know how to explain that, like all the colors and it became like manifested. I guess that's the way you can say it. By his mercy, he made it manifest. And that's what it means when Krishna agrees to show up there. When he shows up, it's going to be manifested. Krishna's not going to show up and then make it all unmanifested, right? So then I could understand the difference. I had just heard this pastime from two other people. And, I understood the pastime. I'm reading also from Krishna book, But now here's a description of somebody who's part of that pastime, who's in that pastime. So naturally his description is going to be much more detailed and complete, isn't it? You can read a book about India and then you can come to Holy Dham and associate with Sadhu Guru Vaishnavas, so that's a different level of realization and experience and faith that you can get by direct association with somebody who's from that place. So Srila Govinda Maharaj used to say that, you see, you people, you're not from that place. You were never in that place. And that was completely contrary to ISKCON presentation that we all fell from Goloka Vrindavan. You think that's a little different? Right? One is saying you were in Goloka Vrindavan and you fell due to your enviousness there in the spiritual world. And then you had to take another body, even though Krishna says you never have to take another body. Right? And then Srila Govinda was saying you never were there before. So how you gonna understand it? So it's only if some personalities from that place come here and hold out their hand and say, okay, come with me, I'll show this to you. Only then will you be able to begin to even understand it. But if you said, no, I was already there, thanks anyway. I already know about that pastime. Wake up. All right, are you tired? Are you sure? Just normal tamagun? So, I saw, one time I was thinking that, like on the plane they have like this, they have this screen in the front, right? And then all of a sudden it goes from the front and then it goes to the back of your seat, right? So somehow I was thinking it's something like that, like the big screen is there, but he's making it come directly to your seat so you can actually more personally experience that. So he's making it more available to you. Krishna is making it more available to us by the association of such a devotee who's empowered to make it available to us. So who is eager to participate, cooperate, and accept the opportunity and the offer, by that mercy, then gradually we can come to get a deeper revelation and realization about those pastimes. As contrast to that, you have so-called senior devotees. They're having lectures in Vrindavan, right? What is it? The VIHE? What's that called?
Vrindavan Institute of Higher Education.
Yeah, Vrindavan Institute of Higher Education. And then they're doing class on Krishna book. So they have a bunch of, brand new people. And then they just, okay, we'll all read the Krishna book. And then everybody just say what you think that means. Right? So you have a bunch of crazy people, I mean, more or less, right? Tamagun, Rajagun, no real experience, faith, understanding, and then you're saying, you know, what do you think about what that means? What does that mean to you? Right? So they're going to come with the wildest type of speculation based on their experience, isn't it? You know, I remember I met this guy and he wanted to crack my head and kill me. And you're going to get a very ordinary type of explanation of that Leela, isn't it? So I just saw it in the beginning. I was like, I already heard that Leela. Gurudev every day is talking about Guru Tattva, hearing. He's emphasizing that all the keys to success on a daily, regular basis, because with those keys, then you have access to receive every other thing. Otherwise, we don't have those keys, we don't use those keys, none of that is available to us. It's not made available to us because we're not going through the process, the administrative process, isn't it? You have to log on, you have to do so many things. You need the password, you need how do you say, administrative permissions, right? So many things is required. You're gonna just go by yourself and just say, okay, I'm smart, right? I'll just hack into this thing. Our hacking, do you think Krishna could come up with a password that we can't hack? So then the demon, Vrikasura, he got tricked, cracked his head like a thunderbolt, immediately died. All the demigods from the heaven, they all started showering flowers, not on the demon, on Lord Narayana, that brahmachari, and praising him with shouts of all glories to you, all thanksgiving. That's the real thanksgiving. You killed another Nazi, another demon. And they offered their obeisances to the Lord. So how is it that all those demigods, they understood clearly this is Lord Narayan in the guise of a brahmachari? You think they're all just offering flowers just to some ordinary brahmachari? All the demigods are showing up for that? That means that they understood. They understood that this is our Lord doing this amazing Leela in such a way to rid us of such a great demon as Vrikasura. On the death of Vrikasura, all of the Denzians and the higher planetary systems, namely the demigods, the Peters, is that what it's called? Huh? Pitra, and the Gandharvas, inhabitants of Janaloka, they all showered flowers on the personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. So Lord Vishnu, in the form of a brahmachari, released the Lord Shiva from the impending danger, and he saved the whole situation. So this reminded me also of this principle of Guru Tattva, that Krishna is assuming the form, the body of the spiritual master, right? So it's Krishna directly coming in the form of the spiritual master in order to purify and protect and to deliver his devotees from the different types of gross and subtle dangers which are still being offered by Maya, because we're living in the Maya Jagat. So they're giving, Krishna's giving shelter and protection through his devotees, so that the Krishna Samsara means a Guru Samsara. So if you stay within the family of Guru and Krishna, you'll find spiritual shelter and protection. As soon as you walk out of the gate, immediately Maya will catch you, you're finished. So the Lord, he comes sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly, sometimes he's coming as in disguise, like he did here, Sometimes he's coming in the form of the spiritual master. And all these different ways, Krishna is trying to protect his devotees, or those who want to be devotee, from all of the different dangers and save them from the whole situation. So everybody is addicted to mental speculation. Maya is controlling all of that mental speculation. So the Guru is there to say that's not coming from Krishna. That thinking, your thinking is coming from Maya. So the Guru, Krishna is using the Guru to give you intelligence and understanding of what to accept as valuable and what to accept as a type of cheating or danger which is being offered up by Maya. Lord Narayana then informed Lord Shiva that this demon Vrikasura was killed as the results of his sinful activities. And he was especially sinful and offensive because he wanted to experiment on his own master. So it's bad enough you ask for that benediction, but then you're going to experiment on your own master? So this is especially sinful and offensive, that whatever ability or power or benediction that we receive, that we then use that against the very personalities that actually made it possible in the first place. So this is a sign of a complete lack of gratefulness and appreciation. And so it says that the Lord can forgive anything except an ungrateful person, right? So someone who's that envious and that ungrateful and that sinful and that offensive, only they're being killed is the only solution for such person. Lord Narayana then told Lord Shiva, "My dear Lord, a person who commits such an offense to such great souls cannot continue to exist." So this is another confirmation of this point, that if you're such a demon, quality of demon, that unless you're killed directly by the Lord, then you will go to hell eternally, right? Nitya Bada. So they cannot continue to exist. But that raises the point that if he received the mercy and he became liberated, then he would continue to exist, right? Then he would come back again and he would, take another form and like this. But he's saying, no, this person has lost the right to exist. That means that they are nityabada, they are eternally condemned, right? This is just another validation of what we talked about recently in Bhagavad Gita, about how Krishna dealing with the demons. You remember we were talking about that? Was that here or was that in Russia? Huh? Was that in Russia? Russia? You want me to show you that one as well? You guys are demanding. It's unbelievable. More. So this is where Krishna is talking about divine and demoniac natures in 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Let's see what you think about this one, Sanatan. You're such a jnani. You're such a smart guy, Srivas, right? He's got it all figured out. Right, Srivas? It's all figured out now? Has all your bewilderment left you? Has all of the dots been connected? Has everything been reconciled? So Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita 16:19, Translation, those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast them into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. Perpetually means forever, constantly, right? So I was thinking perpetually. Perpetually. In the purport, Prabhupada said, in this verse, it is clearly indicated that the placing of a particular individual soul in a particular body, that is totally up to the Supreme Lord. Where he's going to place some soul, in which particular situation or body, that's completely up to the Lord. The demoniac person may not agree to accept the supremacy of the Supreme Lord, and it's a fact that they may act instead according to their own whims. But his next birth will depend upon the decision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and not on himself. So we can use or misuse in our minute independence, but we cannot control where the soul is going in the next birth. That is totally up to Krishna to decide it. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, it's stated that an individual soul, after his death, is put into the womb of a mother, where he gets a particular type of body under the supervision of superior power. So under Krishna directly or through superior power of Mama Maya. Therefore, in the material existence, we find so many different species of life. Animals, insects, men, so on and so on. All of those arrangements, of those particular being placed in one of those species of life, that's all going on by the supreme will of the Lord, supreme power. It's not accidental. As for the demoniac, what is his name? Vrikasura? Vrikasura. As for the demoniac, it is clearly said here that they are perpetually put into the wombs of demons, and thus they continue to be envious. So if you keep going in the womb of a demon, you just come out another envious demon, right? The lowest of mankind. Such demoniac species of men are held to be always full of lust, always violent, always hateful, always unclean. And the many kinds of hunters in the jungle are considered to belong in the demoniac species of life. Hunters in the jungle. Then attaining, Krishna then continues, attaining repeated birth amongst the species of the demoniac life, being born again and again as a demon, right? Such persons, Krishna said, can never approach me. So perpetually placed and can never approach me under any circumstances. Didn't we hear that samsara was a gradual elevation up through the species of life, and then finally people are liberated and then they go to Krishna? But here Krishna is saying you're perpetually put into this demoniac species of life, and such persons can never approach me. And gradually they sink down to the most abominable types of existence. So in the purport, Prabhupada said, it is known that God is all merciful. But here we find that God is never merciful to the demoniac. It is clearly stated here that demoniac people, life after life, are put into the wombs of similar demons, and not achieving the mercy of the Supreme Lord, they just degrade themselves and go down and down and down, so that at last they achieve the bodies like those of cats and dogs and hogs. It is clearly stated that you're getting a body which is basically going from, it's getting worse to the point that you're put into animal, cat, dog, hog body, right? It is clearly stated that such demons have practically no chance. So now wait a second, perpetually, they never have any, right? But it says practically no chance of receiving the mercy of God at any stage of later life. In the Vedas it's stated that such persons gradually, they sink to become dogs and hogs. And it may be then argued that in this connection that God should not be advertised as all merciful if he is not merciful to such demons. So how do you say the Lord is all merciful if he's not merciful to such demons? So it's apparent contradiction. He's perpetually not merciful, but then he's considered to be all merciful Lord. So in the answer to this question, Prabhupada says in Vedanta Sutra we find the Supreme Lord, he doesn't have any hatred for anyone. The placing of asuras or the demons in the lower status of life is just simply another feature of his mercy. So sometimes the asuras are killed by the Supreme Lord, but that killing is good for them. For in the Vedic literature we find anyone who's killed by the Supreme Lord, he becomes liberated. There are instances in history of many asuras, Ravana, Kamsa, Hiranyakashipu, to whom the Lord appeared in various incarnations just to kill them. Therefore, God's mercy is shown to the asuras if they are fortunate enough to be killed by him. So unless the Lord directly comes and kills that demon, doesn't receive that type of mercy. So in that category of the most degraded demoniac personalities, the Lord has to show mercy to them. Otherwise, he's not considered all merciful. But his mercy is, he kills them and then delivers them or liberates them. But he doesn't do that for every such demon. So the fact that he does that in that species of life, by killing sometimes, he probably says, if you're fortunate enough, therefore God's mercy is shown to the asuras if they are fortunate enough to be killed directly by him. So that mercy to such asuras is if the Lord himself personally kills you and liberates you. That's in the Bhagavad Gita. You didn't know that? What kind of engineer are you, man? Krishna says the three gates leading to hell, lust and anger and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. Prabhupada says the beginning of demoniac life is described herein. One tries to satisfy his lust. When he's not satisfied in his lust, he becomes angry, disturbed, and then greed arises. A sane man who does not want to glide down to the species of demoniac life must try to give up these three enemies, lust and anger and greed, which can kill the self to such an extent, that there will be no possibility of liberation from this material entanglement. So there is this situation where there's no possibility of liberation. That means there are different living entities who are not directly killed by the Lord, who are perpetually cast. So in this Krishna book where Prabhupada's saying that they don't deserve to exist. So unless those demons are killed directly by the Lord, then they are perpetually cast. Otherwise, why do we say Nitya Bada? It means they're eternally conditioned. If somehow or other one is killed by the Lord, or you could say in this case where Lord Chaitanya is killing the demons within, so extra special mercy, and then not just liberating but taking back to Golok Vrindavan is extraordinary type of mercy. Any points or questions so far? On any point, anything? Yeah.
When the Brahmana killed the Asura, then
The Brahmana what?
the Brahmana boy who was disguised Narayana, the Brahmachari boy who was a Narayana, and he killed the Asura. So
It's Narayana in the form of a Brahmachari, right? Yeah.
and then the demigods and Pitras and all these other planetary people, they were flowering.
Were you upset that they didn't give you any flowers? Were you feeling bad about that?
I had an understanding that this it is happening on Shvetadeepa, which is the topmost planet. So others are like lower planetary systems. So how are they garlanding or glorifying and able to see what's happening
Oh,
there?
smart guy, huh? Wow. Very smart question. It looks like they were given access to that pastime. Just like we're getting access to this pastime. Right? We're also participating in this pastime. This is all going on in Vaikuntha, right? All going on in Svetadvip. So how is it that we're also able to understand what's happening there? We're also glorifying. We're also happy to see such a demon is killed. We're also amazed and glorifying the Lord as He comes in such an extraordinary form as a brahmachari to protect His devotee and to destroy the demons. So we have special mercy where we're allowed to understand and have access to this pastime. I think it's a 4-dimensional type of experience, not a 3-dimensional. Because you can just read this on 3-dimensional platform and not really have access to it. If you read it and understand it on 4th-dimensional platform, just like I was explaining, many devotees talking about these leelas, but they have no access there. So they're not on that platform. It's theoretical, academic. So the Lord's devotees, the pastime, the paraphernalia, the dham, nothing is manifested there. So that's a 3-dimensional theoretical understanding. But if Krishna empowers his devotees and Krishna agrees to manifest there, then when Krishna manifests there, he's bringing his devotees, his dham, his paraphernalia, leelas, everything is then manifested, means 4th-dimensional manifestation. So that's why I got to get a glimpse of that, because I had just recently heard the same pastime, word for word, same pastime, but I had a completely different experience. So then I understood, you had a theoretical outside, like the honeybee licking the outside of the glass. There's no access inside of that honey. So unless the Lord showers mercy and directly manifests there is no fourth dimensional type of consciousness or understanding which can be bestowed on us by which we can enter into that lila. So I asked Srila Gaur Govinda Swami, well, they're all telling the same lila. They're saying Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So how conditioned soul can know whether that guru is speaking theoretically or whether he's actually and factually part of that lila? That was my question. And Gurudev said, Ari Baba, if it's theoretical, it will not work, it will not be effective. So you can tell, you can understand by the result. So like I'm explaining, after hearing from Srila Gaur Govinda Swami, his presentation of that same exact lila that I just previously had heard twice, by his mercy and potency and empowerment, he was able to make that lila manifest. So you could see the personalities, the dress, the color, the emotional exchanges. You could understand in a much deeper, more real way. And that's not really because we're so qualified. It's just out of his causeless mercy, he's able to purify us so that we can have access to that presentation or that manifestation, right? If Krishna comes and Gurudev is making Krishna come and he's bringing that manifestation, well, doesn't there have to be somebody there that sees all of that? Otherwise it makes no sense. So the guru, he has certain glasses on, he's seeing in a very particular way, then he takes off his glasses and says, okay, now you put these glasses on, then you look at it. It's just like if you go to a 3D movie, right?
Yes, yes.
Right? If you don't put the glasses on, you don't get the effect of the 3 dimension, isn't it? So what to speak of 4th dimension? Where are those glasses that give you 4th dimensional type of vision? You're sitting there, we don't even have the 3-dimensional glasses on, and we're trying to speculate about 4th dimensional platform. It's nonsensical, actually. It's non-scientific. If we want to really understand 4th dimensional platform, mercy from those personalities, from that platform, can purify us and qualify us. Just like Sanjay said, because my spiritual master, he showered his mercy on me, he purified my intelligence, my mind, and my senses. So once I got that purification, that mercy from my guru, then I could see and hear Krishna directly speaking on battlefield. So it's a question of revelation. So without the mercy of Krishna and his devotees from that platform, if we don't get the purification of intelligence, mind, and senses, we have no access to that platform. And then we're just sitting in a very disturbed, defective 3-dimensional platform, speculating non-scientifically about what's happening in 4th dimensional transcendental platform. That's the madness of it all. And then because of pride, we're thinking we're seeing and understanding everything. And because we can repeat by remembering the pastime, that photographic memory, then it looks like, wow, this person really knows that pastime. So until you meet someone from that platform and gives you a different experience, you cannot know the difference. Because all you know is 3-dimensional hearing of that pastime. Right? You have no other experience, so how can you understand it? If you get mercy from Krishna, Shri Guru, Gauranga, and they make that lila manifested for you, where you can perceive and understand it on a fourth dimensional platform by their mercy, then you can understand the difference in the effect of what you witness, what is your experience, what did you see, what did you hear, what did you realize, what is the depth of your understanding of that lila. Then you can see the difference between somebody speaking theoretically and then somebody speaking with a realization. So Gurudev said if it's theoretical, it won't have that effect, it won't have that potency. So Prabhupada said you judge by the result. So that was my result. Hearing all of these other people speaking about Krishna, then I had a particular result, right? And then I had a different result from hearing directly from Srila Gaura Govinda Swami. And it was so drastically different that now you can compare it. Before that experience, it's all more or less the same. There's that example like if someone is giving you some bitter lemon or something, right? And you're like, what is this? And they say, oh, it's a sweet orange. And then every time you're eating bitter lemon, right, and saying, oh, this is a sweet orange, right? But if someone comes and brings you a real sweet orange, then you're like, whoa, what is this? Oh, that's a sweet orange. Oh, now I understand. Now I can see what is the difference. So if we can realize that difference by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, then we can understand what is theoretical versus what is being spoken with Tattva Vijnanam, means a realized knowledge and faith, which can only come by the mercy of that fourth dimensional platform and the personalities who are from that place. You understand? How did we get on that topic? Oh yeah, so then they must have received some special opportunity. Right? Sometimes they, when they put out some kind of video or movie or something, they say, okay, we're giving some special tickets for some well-deserving people to get the first look of this premiere, right? So if some higher authority gives you permission to go there, then you go there, right? So wherever that devotee is speaking, that opportunity is there every time he speaks. Now it's just a question of, are we deserving of the mercy? Are we eager and greedy enough and interested enough in the subject matter that will get the sympathy and compassion and mercy of those persons who have the power to give you the right of hearing, who have the power to purify intelligence, mind, and senses, where you have then access to fourth dimensional topic. So his question is very three-dimensional, right? How can you be in one planet and then these people are on this planet, right? It's three-dimensional thinking, right? But you can be on that planet physically, right? But have access fourth dimensionally of what's going on that planet. So if you're sitting in a temple with such Vaishnava, in my case in Los Angeles, then he's bringing Gokul, he's bringing Vrindavan to you. So wherever they go, they can bring Krishna, they can bring Krishna pastime, Krishna devotee to manifest there. So that place becomes Vrindavan, becomes Vaikuntha. So apparently, you're sitting in Los Angeles, or you're sitting in your country, right? But actually, it's transformed. Because if Krishna and his devotees and his dham and pastimes and paraphernalia want to show up there, then that place is actually fourth dimensionally, it's actually not of the material world. Just like this Shvetadvip, it's apparently in the material realm, but it's actually Vaikuntha. So Vaikuntha can appear anywhere, just like Krishna can appear anywhere. Those pastimes can appear anywhere. There's no material condition or restriction for that to manifest itself. So it's a very three-dimensional type of question. If you're in this part of the universe, on this planet, and then this is going on in another part of the universe on that planet, how is it possible that they can throw flowers like all the way? Like, how do those flowers like go across the Viraj River, right, and go into Vaikuntha, and then it's going through different, looking for certain Vaikuntha planet, and then it's finally landing on this brahmachari who is Narayana. So he actually proves the point, right? By the question. So fourth dimensional platform is not restricted by any type of three-dimensional consideration. And it's right, available right in front of us. Even here, even while sitting here. But how do we recognize fourth dimensional platform? It has a special glasses. It's like someone, it's like sometimes, you know, how do I say, like, yeah, like someone's watching the movie, right? See, it's a mundane example, but you're watching three-dimensional movie. And then the guy without the glasses is like, it's just blurry, nothing really makes sense, right? And then the other guy's like, yeah, you know, he's like completely fired up, right? Because he's seeing dragons and he's seeing, you know, spaceships and whatever. And this guy's like, it's all just a blur. I don't see nothing. And then this other guy's having like this unbelievable experience, right? And they're like, what the heck is he seeing and experiencing? And so, oh, let me see those glasses. Let me see those glasses. I want to see what you're seeing. And then if they're kind enough, they say, okay, here, put the glass on. Right then you're like, whoa, yeah, now I understand what you're talking about. Now I see it. Now I understand it. Right? But instead of going to the person who has the glasses, right, we're sitting there like, well, I don't need those glasses. I can just, on my own power, my own ability, my own senses, I can understand everything. Right? Okay, enjoy the movie. No special effects for you. And that's even on a three-dimensional platform, right? What to speak of fourth-dimensional platform? So we're thinking from three-dimensional platform. There's a whole nother way of seeing and understanding it. It's right in front of us, but we cannot see it. I remember many times Srila Govinda Swami, when he's giving a class, he's saying, yeah, Krishna's right there, and he's just, and we're all like trying to follow. But he's like, yeah, Krishna's right there, he's standing right there, and he's just looking at us. And so what is he saying? Then what are we seeing? Are we getting such darshan? Do we have that type of senses? Where we can perceive and understand the presence of the Lord? Is He talking to us? Are we hearing Him? Are we getting His intelligence and faith? And because you're not, then you think nobody can. This is problem. Because you can't see it, you don't understand it, therefore nobody can see it, nobody can understand it. It's not available to anybody. Well, if Krishna doesn't come and He doesn't bring His devotees to make it available to us, then what hope do we have? In the present condition, what access do we have to that platform? Nothing. No karma, no jnana, no yoga, no bhakti. And we're going to sit in Tamagun and Rajagun and speculate what's happening on the Shuddha Sattva transcendental fourth dimensional platform? And then when we even think that we're doing that, we're thinking, well, I'm thinking about Goloka Vrindavan, So where Krishna is the farthest away, we're trying to use the power of our speculation to understand him and reach him, and then he's situated in our own heart, directly next to our soul, and we cannot perceive him. We cannot see him, we cannot hear him, we can't put faith in him, we can't put trust in him. We're supposed to be taking dictation from Paramatma, Kshetra Krishna, Super Soul. Are we all taking dictation from the Paramatma, Super Soul? Who's telling us what to think and what to do? Who's concocting all of our different plans that we're so busily engaged in speculating about? Is that coming from Krishna? Or is it coming from Maya? And what's coming from Krishna, we can't hear it. We're deaf, dumb, and blind. Krishna says, because of your false ego, you cannot hear me. And then what's coming from Maya, dressed up as spiritual, we're saying, oh yes, Krishna's telling me to do like this and that. I feel it in my heart. It keeps coming to me again and again and again and again. Only I can think Krishna's putting this in my mind. And every time I think about it, I feel good about it. I feel it in my heart, and I got confirmation from the hogs, dogs, camels, and asses. I mean from the other family members. So that means it must be coming from God, Krishna. You didn't see the fourth dimensional flowers being thrown? That means there's a whole world going on that we have no access to. And instead of doing what's required to get access, we're just thinking by our own strength, power, intellect, senses, we can understand everything. That is the very reason why we can't understand anything properly. Yeah. So which Raganuga Bhakti are you doing? Any other points, questions? This is very dangerous information. Right? Those who want to keep you in the three-dimensional platform want you to believe that they can transform the three-dimensional platform into fourth dimension, even though they can. They want you in that matrix. They want you stuck in that three-dimensional state of consciousness. And all of the educational system, all of the propaganda, everything you see and you hear, all it's doing is contaminating and degrading your consciousness to the point you don't even know three-dimensionally what's going on. And then we're gonna speculate about fourth-dimensional topics. How's it possible? Yeah. Yes, Adam? Adam Ant. He's a big ant.
I was thinking.
Are you happy about what you're thinking? And then will we be happy hearing what you're thinking about?
Yes.
I hope so.
Just in connection with the question, and because these denizens, these like people from the heavenly planets, they have vehicles like swan carriers and different vehicles. So like
another scholar, you know.
They may have been loitering in the area.
You cannot get your loitering vehicles from the heavenly planets to enter into fourth dimensional platform. They have their limitation. You have to Krishna-ize your vehicles, whether it's your body, your mind, or your transportation mode. Because it's all three-dimensional, right? So that means it has to become fourth dimensional. Otherwise, no access. You know, if you're like in fourth dimensional consciousness and you're you're flying on this, bird or something, right? And then the bird's in like three-dimensional consciousness, right? Then as soon as you come to the fourth dimension, right, like you go through, and the bird is just like. It's like splat. Sometimes when the bird hits the window. Right? So fourth dimension means you're smaller than material elements, so you can go through. But if the bird is three-dimensional, he's going to get a different experience. So you have to see what is the credentials of your bird carrier. Whether he can be put into fourth dimensional mode, right? Economy, sport. Some other type of access of consciousness is required, right? So how's that for an answer? Doesn't it mean his spaceships have to be fourth dimensional? What do they fly on?
Like I only know for 100% the swan carrier. Like it's like a shape like a swan.
They're flying in swans. Just get the essence of the story, We're missing like the whole essence of the story, and we're like, how about those swans? Like, how do they help the demigods throw flowers in another planet, in a different universe? Anyway, nice questions. But just that's why if we understand the tattva, by mercy of Guru and Krishna, you can actually understand everything. Because without the tattva, you can't understand any of these, points or issues. If you understand the science, you understand the tattva, then you can apply the tattva in every single circumstance and understand how and what works and why and how, isn't it? Because those are scientific, so everything has to be consistent in that exacting science in order for it to be effective and understood absolute, from an absolute perspective. Without those tattva, without intelligence and faith by mercy of Guru and Krishna, you don't understand the tattva. You can't put any of these pieces together. You can't reconcile anything because it's all mixed up. We're in three-dimensional consciousness under lower modes of material nature. We're trying to extrapolate into a fourth-dimensional platform, and using three-dimensional instruments and experiences which have nothing to do with the experience of the fourth dimension to understand it. That's why it's so confusing. We're like talking two different languages, two different levels of experience and science and consciousness. And so the problem is we're trying to do it from three-dimensional material platform. That's the root of the problem. As soon as you realize that this subject matter cannot be understood from that platform and using that process by which we've always gathered knowledge from a three-dimensional point of view, as soon as you understand that that process is actually an impediment to gaining access to fourth dimensional information, you won't let go of it. We have faith in it. If we can just see it and feel it and touch it and analyze it from three-dimensional point of view, then we can do, if we're doing that on everything in the material world, then we use the same process, the same instruments in the spiritual world. That's not going to work. So we have to literally, factually, 100% not use that process. So instead of listening to mind, intelligence, and senses, which is being orchestrated, contaminated from Maya, the soul is going to Krishna, Super Soul, Antayami, Chetu Guru, and seeking mercy, merciful intelligence and faith from those sources who are from that region, who are completely fourth dimensionally situated in their consciousness, their understanding, and their experience. So it's a completely heaven and hell different process of gaining access and understanding. Can you put that fan like some other direction? Does it make sense? And it's very difficult to give it up, because all we know, conditioned soul, all they know is their body and their mind. So how do you give that up if all you're using is your body and your mind? How do you give that up unless you realize you're a soul? So you have to realize you're a soul, and you have to realize that Krishna is a super soul, and he's the source of all knowledge and intelligence. You have to factually, practically realize that by Krishna's mercy. Prabhupada says without Krishna's mercy, you cannot even realize that you're not the body. You can't realize that you're a soul. Prabhupada said it's not enough to say we're not this body, we're spirit souls. Prabhupada said you have to act on the consciousness, on the platform of a soul. But if all we know is our body and mind, how do you divorce yourself from the habit of using our own strength and intelligence and so-called intelligence, mind, and senses to gather knowledge? Well, if I don't use my body, my mind, my intelligence, mind, and senses, then that means I'm nirvana. I'm a zero. I'm a nothing. So if all you do is you think you're your body and your mind, and you say you can't use your body and your mind, and you don't know anything on soul platform, transcendental platform, then that means you don't exist. Right? So you say, okay, don't use your body and mind, but go get intelligence and faith. Who? So where? From where? What else can you hear? If all you're hearing is your mind, and you say, don't listen to your mind, then you won't hear anything, right? So that means there's another voice that's required. That's Krishna. So if you're just 100% convinced, especially trying to understand that platform, that nothing's going to come through your material mind, then you have to hear on soul platform. Krishna's speaking on soul platform, not on three-dimensional material platform. Yeah? This is Raganuga.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, Srila Gurudev, this question was coming in my mind that the pure devotees, they are on fourth dimension. They are working in fourth dimension. And
so if you don't understand fourth dimensionally, then who's a devotee? How do you know who's on that platform? Oh, they said he's on this platform. Right? So?
What was the question?
He lost faith in Lord Shiva's benediction.
So pure devotees, they are working on fourth dimension, and they have access to spiritual world. So while they are
in the spiritual world.
They are in the spiritual world.
Yeah.
Even when they are in material.
Because if you're with Krishna, that's the spiritual world, right? So wherever Krishna is, that is Vrindavan. He never leaves Vrindavan. So if we can somehow or other, Krishna said, Mammana Bhava Mad Bhakto, only think about me, be my devotee, my bhakta, premi bhakta, this is the goal. So Krishna says, okay, how badly is this soul wanting that? What are they prepared to do to get that? So Krishna is measuring our sincerity and seriousness for that spiritual goal. And then he says, then I'm rewarding you accordingly. As you surrender unto me, Krishna says, I reward you accordingly. Krishna, sometimes Prabhupada says, as you surrender to me, I'll reveal myself to you accordingly. So if Krishna is revealing himself by his mercy and by the mercy of Shiguru, spiritual master, then by their mercy we can get purified intelligence, mind and senses enough to understand fourth dimensional topic. So people want to just talk about fourth dimensional topic and they can explain nothing about what's required to get there or how they got there. That should be a warning, a red flag. Should we just assume? Right? All the devotees who reach that platform, they're saying, this is how, this is the mercy that I got by Krishna, by Vaishnava's mercy. This was what I went through to come to that platform. Just like Sanjay says, by the mercy of my spiritual master, he purified my intelligence, my mind and senses so that I could directly hear Krishna speaking on the battlefield in Kurukshetra. Right? So unless someone can explain that with faith and realization, we're just assuming because someone's talking about Krishna consciousness that they're automatically on some fourth dimensional transcendental platform. Because they have some jnana, or they can demonstrate some type of shakti. So it's very easy to be bewildered. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the greatest enemy of Shuddha Bhakti is mixed bhakti. Because it's very difficult to see the distinction. Other one, you can just clearly see this is not Shuddha Bhakti. But mixed bhakti that's going on in the name of pure bhakti, this is very difficult, especially for conditioned soul, to be able to make that distinction between the mixed bhakti and Shuddha Bhakti. Because the differences are so subtle that it's very difficult to see what's the difference. That's why I was asking my Gurudev that everybody's talking about Krishna, but as conditioned soul, how do we know who's just speaking theoretically and who's speaking with the realization? And Gurudev said you have to tell by the results, by the effect. So if Krishna's mercy is empowering Shri Guru, spiritual master, to speak, then what is the effect of that hearing process? There's no better way to understand it. So without mercy of Sadhu Guru Vaishnava, without the mercy of Krishna, without mercy of Srimad Bhagavatam, nobody can understand it. And then all the devotees who got mercy, who can understand it, they're literally telling, this is what I did to get the mercy, which then allowed me to understand it. So they're giving you all the tips, all of the, if you look up in Srimad Bhagavatam, every time that Krishna, directly or in some incarnation or some form, whenever he hands out a benediction, a special mercy to some living entity, he always is telling why they're getting that mercy. Because you approached me like this, and you were acting like this, and you're behaving like this, it pleased me. And because that pleased me, then it forced me and inspired me to want to give you some mercy, some benediction. So whoever got that darshan, whoever got that benediction, whoever achieved that perfection, what is their experience and what did they do? What were they doing to get such mercy? Then we just have to follow that and try to implement that in our own understanding, in our own practice, knowing that if we do it properly and sincerely and seriously, that this is the way that everyone previously received such mercy. But instead of that, we're just like, oh, I'm trying to figure it out, it's very difficult. We're not going in a scientific way. We're speculating, we're adding, subtracting, concocting, manufacturing, changing, twisting. So everything becomes confused. That's why it's not working. Follow general instructions, specific instructions, automatically you get mercy from the spiritual master. You get mercy from Sri Guru Granga, Sri Guru and Krishna. Automatically you'll get mercy. Oh, where's the mercy? I'm not getting any mercy. I'm killing myself. And then no mercy. Half the stuff you're killing yourself with is self-inflicted. You've self-inflicted yourself with the punishment and the suffering you're going through, and you're thinking that somehow that is some tapo divyam. Which actually is aparad. So in our minds, we're doing all so much tapo divyam. We're committing so many offenses and suffering so many reactions. That should certainly qualify us. You see why if we don't know the subtleties, we can misunderstand a lot. And we can assume a lot, which is not factual. That's why clarification is required. Somebody who understands it can explain it to us. Then Prabhupada said, you hear it from one who knows, then you'll be able to see it and understand it. First hear it, then see it. If we can't hear it, you're not going to see it. We're just lost in our own mental speculation. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe here, maybe there. Just trying to come to own conclusion. And many times I ask devotee, well, did you ask Krishna what he wants for you? And they look at me like, that's such a strange question. We're supposed to be devotee of Krishna, right? And we never think to ask Krishna, what do you want from us? what will be pleasing for you? It's like the servant comes in the room, right? And then he says, okay, listen, I don't do windows. They just come in and give like a list. These are certain, I can dust, I can sweep the floor. I don't do, I don't scrub, this or that. I don't do windows, the complicated stuff usually. If you want that done, wow, that's a whole nother price range. Now what are you going to do for me for that seva? So what kind of servant is that? Well, okay, I'll just take the bare minimum then, because I don't feel like paying you more.
Basic package.
Huh?
Basic package.
Yeah, I just give me the basic. And even the basic is actually to help them. So we're misunderstanding a lot. We are assuming a lot. And we don't understand it. That's why we need to hear it. We need to be challenged in our understanding and our thinking in order to go deeper. So I saw how far I could get just by studying, reading the books. Then I measure scientifically. How much do you really think you got out of reading and studying? And then I saw how much I got from hearing from Sadhu Guru Vaishnava. Just hearing. Not writing, not taking notes, not even reading. Just Shravanam. And when I learned from Shravanam, this is supposed to be path of hearing. Shrotapanta. Prabhupada said, factually, the path of bhakti is the path of hearing. Shrotapanta. Before Kali Yuga, there's no books. It's all from realized soul through the ear and the heart of other living entity. Only Kali Yuga, everyone's so degraded, they had to put it and make it a book. And then what are we saying is the Bhagavatam, right? What is coming from the heart and realization and faith of pure devotee, that's coming from Krishna Parampara. They're just speaking and you're writing that down and you're saying that's a Shastra. Dhruva Maharaj Uvacha, right? Prahlad Maharaj Uvacha. It's all pure devotees of the Lord, speaking their realization, their experience, and how they got faith and how they got mercy for the other conditioned souls. They don't have to preach this in Goloka Vrindavan. You don't have to go to Bhagavatam class in Goloka Vrindavan. That's an impetus for you to go there. They're living it. They don't need to be reminded of it. Oh, this is just so you don't become envious and fall down from Goloka Vrindavan. You got to go to the class and hear some shlokas. It makes no sense. But instead of being practical, actually having common sense and hearing from right source, we're fearful. Right? We're fearful to think, but we're not fearful to think when Maya's giving you your next plan. Why you're not careful then? Only when you hear Guru Sadhu Shastra, now I have to be careful. I don't want to get cheated. And then whatever Maya's telling, we're just running, jumping, because I feel it in my heart. And Krishna just keeps putting this in my mind. How do you know that's Krishna putting that in your mind? Well, we're devotees. Prabhupada said we're like demigods. He's looking for a swan to ride on. You better get a strong swan, you know? Some little bird shows up, you know. Like, he looks at Adam, he's like, too much, you know. Too heavy load. So, are we getting somewhere? What this does, maybe it makes us to stop this idea of how much faith and confidence we have within ourselves. We're trusting ourselves and our thoughts and our feelings and our plans and emotions more than Guru and Krishna. Whatever Maya says, we're jumping. Whatever Krishna and Guru say, we're like, oh, let's see. Hesitating. And then if it closely aligns with our materialistic desire, then we say, okay, let me try. If I can get all my materialistic benefits, then I'll also do some bhakti. If it's cut off the head of your mother, was a Parshuram? Right? Cut off the head of your mother? Now we're talking about cutting off the head of your mother on top of every other thing? And then the Mataji is saying, I think his mother didn't love him or something. Maybe his mother just didn't give him enough love. Love. I'm so sick of love. Material world, it's painful. There's no love here. Oh, he was chanting with such bhakti, so much love, right? And he's stealing some other guy's wife. It's really going on. Oh, he loves Krishna, you know. And meanwhile, the guy's looking in the audience like, okay, who loves me? Who will be my next wife? Yeah, there's one famous singer in ISKCON, right? I think he has like 7, 8 different wives. Like over the last 50 years. Now he's crawling around in Russia. Be careful. All Russian Matajis, be careful. He's looking for another wife. And he's bhakti. It's all cheating, isn't it? So the problem is we don't have any real qualification to not get cheated. All we have been is cheated. Now all of a sudden Prabhupada's saying, don't trust yourself, don't trust anybody else, just trust Krishna. Just put your faith and trust in Krishna. That's the best thing you can do. You see all these devotees, right? Lord Shiva, he's running to the Lord, he's running to Krishna, Vishnu, Bhagavan. They're showing in all circumstances what is the solution. And if they're doing, then that means followers should also do. Right? If you're worshiping Lord Shiva, why you're not going and surrendering to Krishna, Vishnu? Right? If your master is saying he's the servant of Krishna, Bhagavan, then why you don't also surrender? Any last thing? Microphone? You understand?
Hare Krishna.
Well, it's scary. That means don't listen to your mind, don't listen to your feelings, don't listen to your emotions, don't listen to your plans, don't listen to your family, don't listen to your friends. Then who do you listen to? Krishna. And those who speak as it is. If someone speaks, understands and speaks as it is, not manufacturing, concocting, twisting, changing, adding, subtracting, and they're careful about that, because they know it's an exacting science, then you can hear from them. Because they're only going to speak Guru Sadhu Shastra. They're not going to make something up. They're not going to change anything. Prabhupada said, that's the problem with you Western people, you want to change everything. Because you think you're so smart. You're so smart that you can just change everything. It's already perfect. There's nothing to change. It's only to be heard and executed. Krishna needs help in understanding how to come up with some exacting science. And you're going to ask a bunch of nobodies? What they think or feel about it? So.
Hare Krishna Gurudev. My question is like that demon Brikasura.
The what?
That demon.
The demons?
Yes.
I heard demons.
So Lord Shiva has given him benediction out of full compassion. So when we are trying to help somebody, we also should consider about that other person's interest and like intention, why the person is seeking help, and after that like then we should help.
They're all demons, right? They're all demons. Prabhupada said everyone in the material world is a demon, more or less. So if we're in a Tamagun, Rajagun, Kalashuta Sambhava, that means low consciousness means a demon consciousness. So just understand everybody's like that, including ourselves, right? So now how do we go from being a demon to a devotee? And Prabhupada said, first become a Paka Brahmana. First come to Sattva Gun platform. Then from Sattva Gun platform, then stepping stone to Shuddha Sattva platform. So I want to create Brahmanas, perfect gentlemen, perfect ladies, Prabhupada said. Because only in that consciousness and that behavior and qualities can we really even begin to understand Shuddha Sattva topic. The problem is we got the Tamagun, Rajagun platform and we're trying to skip all the way to Shuddha Sattva platform, fourth dimensional platform. That's what the difficulty is. So first trying to get us by chanting and hearing and chanting about Krishna, how to Chetotapana Majanam, how to get rid of this Tamagun and Rajagun platform. A very deep-rooted problem. It's like Himalayan mountains. And if we don't do exacting science, don't put faith in it, don't follow it as it is, then how we can expect any good result? That's the delay. And then when there's a delay, we say, oh, this doesn't really work. I don't have a lot of faith in it because I'm doing for so many years and I don't really see any big change, any big difference. Now I'm materially zero, spiritually zero. then Maya tricks you. What's the point? And I have no happiness materially, no happiness spiritually. I don't see any way to get any spiritual satisfaction and happiness. I might as well just go back into Maya. So Maya will just always be there. Hey, anytime you want to come back, I got a plan for you. Won't take long. So if we really want to help other people, we have to first help ourselves, or be in a position where we're being helped. If we don't make that investment and we don't qualify ourselves, if we cannot even help ourselves, how are we going to help somebody else? If we don't have faith in the solution, how you're going to give someone else faith in the solution? So better just work on yourself first of all, right? And then everyone else just pray to Krishna, please shower your mercy blessing, just like we got some mercy blessing. Please also, if you can, shower some mercy blessing on them. I cannot help them. I need mercy and blessing, right? I cannot help them. I need help. Right? Then the stronger we become, the more qualified we become, then to that degree can we help somebody else. So whatever faith you have, to that degree can you share your faith. Right? If you have 20% faith, you can give 20% of your faith. The problem with that is you get 80% doubts. Right? So you're trying to give the little bit of faith, but then you're doubting your own faith, and then they start doubting your faith as well. You have real faith, but the Maya is so strong, the doubts are so strong, we're listening to them. That's why we're hesitating, even though we have real faith. You keep doing that, you'll undermine your faith. Krishna says like that. If you maintain these doubts, you'll undermine your faith and determination to surrender and serve. So that's these demons of doubt have to be killed. Otherwise, whatever faith you do have, those doubts will undermine it, will destroy your faith. So we need association with devotees who can destroy the doubts and give us faith and increase our faith to the point that it's very, very strong and can overcome any type of doubt. Then you can share your faith with other people, with other souls.
And also, Gurudev, till the time the mind becomes quite, we are not supposed to listen to it, anything, and just follow.
I didn't say don't listen to anything. I said listen to Guru and Krishna, Guru Sadhu Shastra. Don't listen to anything. Okay. That's why they do this meditation, right? Like just meditate on zero. How can you meditate on zero? Prabhupada laughing. They're having a big function in the big hall, charging thousands of dollars to talk about zero. And everybody's running. Oh, we're talking about zero. And then if you talk about Krishna consciousness for free, nobody coming. Very few coming. This is how unfortunate in the Kali Yuga. We want everything cheaply. Okay, you want to give me faith and you want to give me auspiciousness, you want to give me, mercy and bhakti, prema, give it to me. I had a devotee come in my room one time and said, okay, now that I've accepted you as my guru, I was like, well, then I accept you as my disciple. I have accepted you as my guru. And I'm like, Did I sign any contract here? Did I agree for that? And he said, since you're my guru, the guru's supposed to give Krishna prema. So I want Krishna prema now. Wow. I was like, can I have some prasad first? You know? That's a big ask. You're asking a lot, you know. Can I eat some prasadam first? Then I'll think about it. Then I said, how you can ask for that? Why don't you ask, like, please give me the faith, intelligence, and willingness to purify my consciousness so I won't be such a demon. Why don't you ask for that then? You're asking for the conclusion? And you don't want any process? We don't want to heartily, seriously take to the process? Because it's hard. It's burdensome. It's disturbing. It's hard work. Commitment, sacrifice, austerity, hardship, heavy purification, discipline, chastisement, given instructions. How many want to take all of that? So they want to bypass it and just give me prema. Oh, we'll just imagine we're all Raganuga Bhaktas. You know, what are you? Are you a gopi? Or are you a cowherd boy? Well, I like sweets, so I must be a cowherd boy. Right? I like wearing saris, so I must be a gopi. Some guys are saying like that too. It gets a little strange. You know, shave off your beard first of all, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's another topic. I don't want to get too off the mark here. It's all going on in the name of religion. Everybody's speculating. This is an exacting science. People say, oh, it's too tight. It's too narrow. It's too demanding. We're asking for the highest dana, and we want to pay nothing for it. Well, they said it was free. You don't have to have any qualification. So I said, that sounded pretty good. And Prabhupada said, that's how I had to cheat you. Yeah, just come, chant, dance, take prasadam, go back to Godhead. And we're like, yeah, that doesn't sound that difficult, right? Now we know too much. And then you look at the contract and there's little small letters in the bottom. And it's like, what does that say? Your life does not belong to you anymore. Now you belong to the Guru. And you have to be prepared to die for that Guru to get Krishna prema. Wow. So how many of us want to pay that price? So it's just easier to just assume everything, wishful thinking, speculation, sentimentality, make up your own way, your own path, your own instructions, your own plans. Then we're getting cheated. So, did we answer the question?
Yes.
Sure? We have more faith in ourselves than in Krishna. That's the problem. That's the root of the problem. Okay, nobody wants to get cheated. Nobody wants to get hurt. But if we don't listen, can't hear Krishna, Krishna says you're lost. Lost means under control of Maya, uncontrolled mind and senses. Then everything will be faulty, everything will fail, everything will be source of suffering and destruction. But we're saying, no, I want to be safe, I don't want to get cheated, I want a peaceful, happy, satisfying life. But we're not trusting Krishna and Krishna's plan for us. We're not even asking what is Krishna's plan for us. Okay, Gurudev, if you tell me like this, then I'll accept it. If it's not like that, well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do it. That'll be a problem for me. That'll be difficult. That cuts into our plans. You're infringing on our plans. Then you rather want to be servant of Maya, servant of Maya samsara, not Guru Krishna samsara. Any other thing? She needs another baby. Why not? We need more devotees, you know what I mean? If you can bring devotees, we need more. If you're going to bring Vana Samkar, we'll hand you over to Bill Gates. He'll give you some shots, some vaccines, you know, for your health, keep you safe.
Gurudev, thank you very much. I will be happy to have 3 childs.
Maybe I should have talked to your husband first of all. He's like, yeah. We'll talk about it. The more children she has, she's so busy, she can't speculate about anything. Right? Too many kids need too many things. So it's distracting her mind. Right? This little devotee needs something from me. So that's the whole idea. Keep your intelligence, mind, senses fully engaged. So nothing's going to be really engaged. That's going to be interesting. The whole idea is to keep the basket over the head while you're drowning, and not drown and not let the kids drown. That's not easy.
Srila Gurudev, you spoke in the class about the right of hearing, that we should deserve this mercy, and it means that we should become completely 100% sincere, to be able to get this mercy. And between the classes, we should act.
If we don't have mercy, if we understand simplicity and sincerity is required, then I wish I was more simple, more sincere, more serious. This is my disqualification. How do I become more serious? How do I become more sincere? How do I become more simple? These are all impediments, they're all obstacles. That's why I can't get mercy. This was holding me back from getting mercy. So now you're desiring how to overcome the obstacles, because we know these things are impediments and obstacles, and now we're desiring how do you develop those qualities and mentality and characteristics in order to get mercy. So now you're desiring for that. Otherwise you think, I deserve mercy already. And then mercy not coming, and like, where's the mercy? So if we're not getting the mercy, Krishna says, I'll reward you accordingly. So if we're not getting rewarded accordingly, that means we're misunderstanding or doing something wrong. That means there's more expected of us. Maybe you got some mercy doing that before, but now the price of the is doubled now. Well, I just read one verse from the Gita and I got mercy. Now I have to read like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So it increases, the price increases. Right? Now, in the beginning you just get mercy, you don't even do anything. Right? Now you're like, oh, mercy is nice, makes everything nice. Now it's like, okay, now earn it. And then we're like, oh, I don't know if I like this. Is mercy really that important? And I think mercy is overrated. It's overrated. Then all of a sudden it's like, how much mercy do we really want? That's the petrol. You can't run materially or spiritually without petrol, without mercy. Arjuna figured that out. Then he surrendered. He said, I need mercy. I can't do anything, materially or spiritually. We read yesterday, Prabhupada said, if you fix your spiritual problem, your material problem will automatically be fixed. We're thinking, well, if I can fix my material problem, then I can fix my spiritual problem. We're thinking 180 degrees opposite. If you fix the spiritual problem, we're fixing the root of the problem. The mercy of Guru Krishna, all these other things can be adjusted. Well, if I just fix all these material situation and everything's perfect, bhakka, then I'll surrender to Krishna. No. My Gurudev used to say that time will never ever come, where you just arrange and fix everything and now finally you're ready to fully surrender to Krishna. Gurudev said, you surrender now, then automatically this other thing will get fixed. We need to hear this every day. If we're not hearing this, then we'll listen to all this stupidity. All of Maya's prompting. Everybody's opinion and feelings and emotions and plans, all of it's coming from Maya. Prabhupada said, just try to hear Krishna, Krishna Parampara, Guru Sadhu Shastra. As it is. That's what is to be heard. That is what is true. That is what is perfect. Everything but that is Maya. So now it's a question of who are we associating with and what is the topic. Who we're going to choose to associate with, and that will decide what the topic will be. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Shishi Goni Thai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Guru Govinda Swami, Srila Gurudev ki, Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda ki.